Kevin Harvick has watched Ryan Blaney struggle in 2025. The Team Penske driver decided to vent his wrath on Christopher Bell over the weekend at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, blaming the Joe Gibbs Racing star for his misfortune. However, Harvick had a thing or two to say about this and isn't full on board with Blaney's fury. So he had to hit back and drop a bombshell on Blaney, delivering him a reality check. Ryan Blaney had another hard day on the racing course. The number 12 team appears to have gone bust in Las Vegas last weekend. The NASCAR champion has dealt with a number of challenges, the most recent of which ended his afternoon. Everyone knows Ryan Blaney gets heated in the car. This time, he could have a valid reason to be unhappy. 4 wide on a restart, and the track couldn't take it. The collision involving Christopher Bell, Noah Gragson, Bubba Wallace, and Blaney was 4 wide. Blaney ran out of room when Gragson made contact with his right rear. Then the wrecking began. Ryan Blaney was quite upset. He called out Bell over the radio. "The Fung 20 just shoves it in the middle," Blaney remarked via Dustin Albino. "He has no regard for anybody. I don't know." This race was wild. All of the pit road mistakes and events on the track have resulted in an interesting shift in pit road strategy. When it comes down to the fine gritty of this race, things will get even more intense. Blaney's rage lasted just a short time, as after leaving the care center and seeing the video, he appeared to accept responsibility for the accident. He was less upset after seeing the 20 car. Shows how different he is in and out of the car. "We were 4 wide there, and honestly I thought I had 2 inside, 1 outside of me," Blaney said, per Bob Pockris of Fox Sports. "I watched one little replay, and I had 2 outside, 1 inside. We'll have to go back and gotta see if I heard it wrong or if there was some miscommunication. It was probably my fault. I gotta go back to see if I heard it wrong or it was communicated wrong, so I have to go back and look." Ryan Blaney faced several obstacles throughout the Las Vegas race, including a 2-lap penalty for losing a wheel. Blaney finished P35 on Sunday, after being forced out of the race due to the incident. Blaney finished outside the top 20 for the 2nd consecutive week. Prior to his 35th place result on Sunday, the 31-year-old placed 28th in Phoenix. Blaney finished 6th at Daytona and 4th at Atlanta earlier this year. Ryan Blaney has developed as one of NASCAR's most talented drivers. Blaney won it all in 2023, then finished 2nd in 2024. In those 2 seasons, Blaney won 6 of his 13 career races. Blaney finished 2nd in the Clash in February, and Jordan Bianchi of The Athletic lauded him for his mid-season form. To me, this is a continuation of Ryan Blaney that we saw really take form in 2023 en route to his winning the Cup Series championship, Bianchi explained on the Teardown podcast. Before that, it was a Blaney that at times showed great speed but couldn't necessarily close the deal, and now we don't talk about that anymore. According to Jeff Gluck of The Athletic, he is extremely talented. He has the capacity to maneuver his car and position it in the desired manner on each lap. It was pretty incredible to go lap after lap attempting to strike that line. Just being able to start from the back like that and drive through the field, that was really something. So, was Blaney right to be angry at the start of it all? Let's rewind a little and look at what Harvick had to say about Blaney's comments. So Blaney was involved in a multi-car collision on lap 195 of the Pennzoil 400's final stage. The former Cup Series winner immediately got on the radio to criticize Bell. "Doesn't have any regard for anybody," Blaney alleged. Harvick attempted to make sense of the entire scenario on the most recent episode of Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour. This started going into turn 1, and it started between the number 99, Daniel Suarez, and the number 2, Austin Cindric. The number 99 was under the number 2 car, and the number 2 just drove over his nose. Daniel lifted. They barely touched. He drove on the apron, came back up the racetrack, and it stacked that whole bottom lane up. By the time they got to the exit of turn 2, they were right here, 4 wide. You see the number 99 right behind them. To me, it looks like the number 12, Ryan Blaney, was paying attention to the number 20, Christopher Bell, coming up the racetrack, because the number 20 was coming up the racetrack, Harvick stated. "I don't know if he realized there were 3 cars out there. I think Ryan knew there were two cars out there, but I think he was probably paying attention, trying to figure out how to keep from getting run over by the number 20, and they just ran out of room. I think that's just one of those scenarios where the stack-up started in turn 1, and by the time they got turn 2, this was the second wreck, by the way. Ricky Stenhouse was spinning out below them, and that was all a result from that stack-up on the bottom lane. So, there were a lot of things that happened prior to this wreck that got all that piled up, and nobody was lifting at this point. But I honestly think, I don't think the number 20 was going to come up all the way, but he was not giving them any room. And Ryan, I think, was watching the number 20 car and just wound up on the front bumper of the car on the outside of him, and they crashed. After seeing the replay, Blaney altered his tune and showed Bell some grace for his role in the situation. Still, Blaney and his teammate Joey Logano are becoming increasingly frustrated, and Harvick feels this has contributed to some fire from Team Penske in the first month of 2025. They definitely have a little bit of frustration to go along with the speed of their car, because in the end, you have to be able to get the results to go with this, Harvick added. You look at the number 22 car, Joey Logano. I mean, they've led laps, been in contention, have absolutely nothing to show for it in the results column. Now, in the points column, their score and stage points, their lead in laps are putting themselves in position to overcome that. The part that you hate as a driver and what's frustrating as a driver for Blaney and Logano, especially yesterday, was they had cars that probably could have been in contention to win the race. Logano had control of the race, and then had the mistake. Blaney, I mean, he just had so many things happen that were not his fault. Had the practice crash where the right rear tire blew out. The pit road issues. Then, he definitely could have done something different to prevent this problem. But I think that was more of a racing deal and everybody running out of room more than anything. But in the end, he did drive over the guy on his right side, and the crash happened. But I don't think it was anything egregious. However, Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney have previously begun slowly and gone on to win titles. Kevin Harvick understands better than anyone that the NASCAR Cup Series season is a marathon, not a sprint. Expect the Team Penske duo to pull it together in the coming weeks. So, what did you make of the whole ordeal? A classic mistake on track? Just bad luck? Or could Blaney have done anything different? And what to come for him and the Team Penske drivers this season? Their cars have looked fast at almost every track, so can they challenge for the title with 2 or more cars this season? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.